Well, adding a note, I want to say that our library's classifying by subject instead of by person or name narrows the subject study dramatically from the very beginning, from the research student point of view, to the accepted view of what the study is and that which supports it. In other words, I'm saying that our research has been stymied from the beginning, historically speaking, of our libraries classifying by subject. We treated knowledge as independent of personhood, which it's not. The whole point of, as I understand it, peculiarly you may think, of God creating communion is that individuals have, in as far as they're perfected, if you like, or advanced, consistent, independent views of himself and all that he's made. And this gives God a completeness that he would not have had. He's only got the complete view of himself. It's very hard to get away from that. What's my separate independent view? Oh, the rest of my family. A very simple thing then. What would happen if you go back to classifying your books? I say back, but if you go back to the beginning of library stuff and you classify by name of author. In other words, this is the stuff that's consistent with this person's view. What he wrote is the biggest check we've got on what his view was. You know, if you're studying some branch of science, you might want the individual. I want everything that Tesla did. Well, let's try and understand what he was at overall. We'll understand his individual inventions much better then. Same with the historian. If I take the historian's view of history, I'll understand any specific account he's got of some event much better in the light of his consistency of outlook. Do you see? I understand his bias now immediately. It's not some porridge of historians' view of, say, Tartaria or, Napoleonic Wars. There are many views. That doesn't mean to say I don't want someone's view that's tried to aggregate them all together. I mean, that might be very useful. But that would be his view, and I'd check from his point of view under his name. You see, we've tried to sanitize, as we think of it, knowledge to something called truth. It isn't. Knowledge is whatever the bias is of the knower, the observer, and the one who hears from the observer. And he hears differently to what was said typically, because he's an individual too. Do you see? Classifying by subject has destroyed the personhood. And if you destroy the personhood from knowledge, you've got soup. You've destroyed the consistency that's in personhood, ideally. Sanitized knowledge is the destruction of personhood. God doesn't want that. He wants all the partial consistent views of himself and all he's created, which includes, of course, all the family. This is a bit too complex for me to really put into words, and I suspect it's because, my disability, not the absence of the reality of the point at hand. Knowledge is not independent of personhood and view. In fact, real knowledge is all possible views. And your particular knowledge is that particular view of the all views that you come across. You discount some and you accept others, and you add to it of your own view and understanding. In other words, imagine a universe in which what is counted as true embraces all views. I don't mean then gives equal weight to all views, you've just got chaos. But you then understand much better what your view as an individual should be of knowledge. I don't think I can quite put this into words. Perhaps you can do better for me. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.
But you see, each individual has a cloud. And it's not out there in some building around the world or something. It's in spirit. It's in his memory of his experience. So what might have been called perhaps the Akashic record, but possibly should just be called spirit, is of the individual. Each individual has their composite view of the whole, and in, if you like, some notion of a perfect communion, those records are available to everyone in the communion. Wow. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.